From the great state of Texas, you are now listening to Skip the Noise podcast, a rounded edge media production. Thank you so much for joining us, bias. Of course, I'm referring to Rick, aka the Brown Python Ben, aka Mexican Nostradamus, and yours truly, Benji, aka Blueberry Sugar, here for another fantastic episode. Shout out to Mike Togglebax for the music. And oh my goodness, we have a wonderful treat for the Skip the Noise listeners. We have a very special guest, an actress, a political commentator, podcast host of Krazy Train podcast, and much more. Always provocative, but never, ever fucking boring. I'm glad to present to you Miss Jasmin St. Jasmin, welcome to Skip the Noise.
Thank you for having me on this. When you slid that message into my DM, I think that's how you millennials say it. I was so happy because it's political stuff, and I love politics. I really do. It's fun, and you guys are cool.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Well,
wait. The podcast just started, so hold on. you may have different opinions towards it. Yeah. let's take that. We'll walk that train down. But yeah. Welcome to the show, and this will be fun. So, how are we gonna?
First and foremost, well, the biggest thing globally right now, Ben. Do you want to introduce this? The Russia, Ukraine. It's just getting the drama. Comes down every single day. There's something.
It's a never-ending, just unfolding crisis that has been managed and then propagated across everything for like the last, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks. Everything from now, the Biden administration is claiming that there is a false flag operation going on, which almost kind of sounds like now they're even being tinfoil hat about Russia. They're talking about they've now announced that the invasion was supposed to occur on the 16th. They've said that troops are leaving, but now they're also saying, today they said that the troops said, no, they're bringing more troops in. They actually brought in 7,500 more troops. They're like, so you got all these missing messages. You have everything happening right now. It's just basically just a kind of a big clusterfuck. Like, yeah. You can tell the administration wants to propagate this story to kind of, continuously prop up Russia as the bad guy. And Russia loves the attention because in their own backyard, they're having several problems. I mean, a lot. Their economy is in complete fucking meltdown, similar to what's happening to us because COVID's basically destroyed everybody. So in the end, it just looks like a big wag the dog. Everybody's talking shit. Everyone's kind of puffing their chest up. Everyone knows that Eastern Ukraine belongs to Russia. Like that's already happened. But now everyone's trying to play these games. So right now we're in the middle of this big tussle and it's kind of being used to terrify everybody, which is just a weird play on this whole like international stage. So that's kind of, I guess you kind of say like a little bit of a summarization of the situation, but I mean,
there's false flag operation.
Right? I mean, they're trying to act like this is Gulf of Tonkin shit over here. And like, these fucking guys are trying to ride this train out. And it's just, once again, something else to scare everybody. You COVID going down, everyone's saying it. And now we have the Russians. I mean, if you're going to you at least come up with something original, something that wasn't used, continuously for what? Since,
you mean like the 1980s?
Yeah, all the 80s, the 50s, anytime you can fucking say that's going on.
I want to see 80s music come back. If we're going to be talking about inflation from the 80s and pulling out of countries.
You're a big Wham fan? You want George? You want a big Wham fan? Is that what you're going after?
Big Wham fan. Yes.
I knew it.
Nothing wrong with that.
That Blue Oyster Cult, you're gonna fucking rock it, bro.
I want to see Red Dawn again, man. I want to see the Red Dawn come back. I want to see
the first one.
We're in Red Dawn.
The first one.
The other one fucking sucked.
Oh yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's safe to say at this point, Nate, any fucking hopes Ukraine had of being a part of NATO is pretty much over now, right?
Well, Biden doesn't make it any better. I mean, I'm just waiting for this war to like happen or when we're going to get attacked. It was supposed to be Wednesday.
Yeah.
Supposed to be like last Sunday. Now this Sunday. Now bear in mind, I'm in the state of California where people are already so shook up. Even if you just go out on the street without a mask and walk past them, if you talk to them. So given that hysteria right there, to have him say, "No, we're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to war," it just doesn't help.
No.
You can't work people up like that in the country. It makes us look really weak, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does. It does. A little inference from it because everyone, it's the boy that keeps crying wolf.
Yeah.
And then if something actually does happen, we basically painted ourselves into that corner because, okay, they're going to attack, but what the fuck are we going to do? Which is nothing. So once again, we're just going to look like it's the worst.
Well, and here's the thing.
Political subterfuge.
This is the whole thing we mentioned before, like with Russia and 4D chess, like that's what they want. They're sitting there. They're actually mocking us on Twitter.
Or being trolled.
The fucking what being trolled.
For real.
And it really makes us look stupid. They knew we were going to react the way we do. We know we're not going to do shit, but it's the posturing and the mixed messages, but it's absolutely crazy. And if you're in Ukraine, they almost don't give a fuck. Like whatever the fuck happens. Yeah.
Do we have listeners in Ukraine?
You know what? Russia, we do.
Dude, I think we're number one in Ukraine. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
I'm pretty fucking sure.
Confirmed,
like
no
we rock the airways, okay?
I heard that we're number one in Chernobyl. You know, we had one listener in Chernobyl, and we're like number one. There.
That was dope. I like
Wait,
that.
you want to hear something interesting that I heard recently was that, so you know how, right, like during the Cold War, well, fuck, even up right until now, right, in Russia, there's all these like shortwave towers and all this shit, and that's how like spies communicated with all these little shortwave radio signals, and they'd pick up if you know what frequency to hit and like all these Morse code bullshit. Well, anyway, so is this one that's been around since like World War II that recently, like as of like a few weeks ago, started broadcasting Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Get," like Rickroll. It's broadcasting that shit shortwave on these old, yeah.
I'm never gonna let you down.
Like fucking on a loop.
Oh boy.
So they're lit. So with all this shit with Ukraine, yeah, it's like psyops, dude.
The Russians are Rick rolling a whole fucking country before the invasion.
That's how deep it gets. That's how deep it gets. Though,
you know what? Fuck that, dude. Russia deserves to be the ultra trolls, right? They basically run the Internet Research Administration, which is basically just a nationwide like troll farm. Yeah. And now they're Rick rolling the country that they're supposed to be invading just to fuck with them. I mean, it's kind of fucking hilarious, right? I mean, you kind of have to laugh at what the Russians are doing. It's kind of a G move. I mean, if you're gonna Rick roll a whole country over the airwaves, fuck it. You know?
What do you think about Biden though? Yeah. Right now, what do you think? What do you think they're saying about Biden though? I mean, Putin, are they taking him seriously? They're probably not going to take him seriously.
They're laughing at him. He looks like a Jerry. We've never had any sitting president in American history that's done this. I mean, you allowed to curse.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. I curse all the time.
Like such fuckery, and
nice.
It really, and that's my new one. You learned.
I like it.
And it's just the whole thing and the whole goal, like regardless of political stances, Americans, like we should be non-reliant upon certain foreign countries for things like gas and oil. Yeah. And we didn't have this issue before. Now we have to rely upon Russia and Ukraine, and they're sitting there laughing at us. I don't think that Biden could have ever spoken to Kim Jong-un the way Trump did.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, here it goes.
Thank you. We had
he's strong.
It's very true.
No, well, first off, let's state the obvious. Biden can't talk. We all know this. Okay, let's be very. Very frankly, Biden doesn't know where he's at. Okay, look, I'm going to state those obvious things. He doesn't know where he's at. He has a diaper on. He's lost frequently, and yeah, that's it. So, with that being said, still. You know, this has been just a complete failure by Biden and by the American government overall. But this was coming, right? Ukraine, when they first invaded back in, not Ukraine, but Russia, when they first took Ukraine in 2016, this has already been happening. You know, Putin wants to bring back all the old guard. He wants to bring back all the solar states, and he will, because no one's going to stop him. And even in this one, well, he is a KGB, but even in this shit, no one's going to stop him because of the fact that Germany already has basically a contract for that oil pipeline with Russia. Yeah. And they've been balking at real sanctions. Basically, this whole situation is just stupid. So yeah, no, Biden totally fucking this up. Now whether Trump would have done any better, I don't personally think so, because I think the Chinese played a lot of fuckery with Trump. I think now the Russians are playing fuckery with Biden. And at this point now, it's just who's going to smack the shit out of us, right? I mean,
yeah, but with Trump, you never heard the war drums. You never heard someone invading anybody. It was just like a missile was made. They have sonic missiles now, whatever the hell that thing is.
Supersonic missiles.
Well, yeah,
and they have intercontinental.
You know what that means? They just put Sonic the Hedgehog sticker on that missile, and they call it a sonic missile. That's what that's.
I think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But no, they shouldn't have taken down the Keystone pipeline. Okay, now we're relying on Russian oil and foreign Middle East oil. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. About that. Okay. Well, okay. You can say whatever you like, but I hate to break this to you. Biden's already approved 2,500 oil leases off the Gulf of Mexico. So guess what? He's approved 5 times more oil leases than Trump did.
Oh, right, we can't get them anywhere. We can't.
No. Wait. We're talking about energy independence and non-independence. He has. So Biden has approved far more in the Gulf of Mexico than anybody else. The only thing he hasn't done that Trump was pushing for was drilling on, basically, our national land, on federal land. That's the only thing he hasn't pushed for. But Biden has goose stepped with the rest of the oil companies, because remember, cash rules everything around me. So everyone, if you're not, they're fucking paying for people, they're still gonna do it. So,
the good thing Hunter has experience in the oil industry now.
Oh, exactly.
Hey, he does. Hey,
right, Jasmin?
Don't knock Hunter. He is a well-established executive. He knows what he's doing. He only does cocaine at 9:30 in the morning, and then he takes a break, and then he switches over to meth.
He also recommended the crack pipes. He also recommended the crack pipes that they're going to be using.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, and you don't know which crack pipe is good. Okay.
Go to
you guys are being haters. Okay. Sometimes you have to have a crack pipe. Sometimes you do.
What's the gas price like in Texas right now? Because it's skyrocketing here.
No, Costco's at $2.85.
What is it?
Well, no.
Well, at Costco here in Houston, it's $2.85.
So remember, I'm in Dallas. They're in Houston. So there's actually a substantial difference between Houston and Dallas in price wise. So I'm close to $4.
$6.
I don't know if they're doing that.
$6.
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, so everyone drives these ridiculous electric cars. And I don't personally, I don't like electric cars. A car should sound like a car. A motorcycle should sound like a motorcycle. A man should sound like a man. A woman should sound like a woman. Case closed.
Game over.
It's all over.
You know what? I think that's a good stopping point. I think you just summed everything up. But
that's end of podcast.
That's it. There's no more to say
about it.
But so the $6 a gallon, that kind of leads me. So some other California shit that I'm curious about, because we had kind of informally before we started recording, we're talking about the mass exodus, right? People coming here. So being a conservative in California, what does that feel like right now?
It's just ridiculous. I was walking up the street with my boyfriend one day, and it's a nice neighborhood that we're in, and we've been here for quite some time. But these two, there's always this liberal look. They don't take care of their hair. They don't do their nails. They don't ever really look good in public. They usually wear pajamas. So these two pajama-clad middle-aged were walking down the street, and we're just walking you can't come up here. You don't have your mask on. They hold their arms out. I'm like, bitch, I used to do roller derby. I would fucking floor your ass.
Shit, yeah.
They don't want to move. Now he has tattoos, and he to some people, he looks hot. Some girls look, bad boys like me. It's not the other way around. So anyway, it's one of those things that could be taken different ways. So they're giving him a weird look, and I was ready to floor this woman, and her friend just saw okay, she's probably going to kill us. I'm like, yes. They move. Then you see the other ones. Oh, you're going to kill everyone. You're going to kill everyone. You see people in hazmat suits walking around Santa Monica. You see them with the visors. Yeah.
Oh no.
They're walking past the restaurant. And let me ask you this: what's the sense of wearing a mask when you're going into a restaurant, then taking it off when you sit down? What can you possibly get? Are you going to catch an STD from someone if they sat on that seat maybe yesterday and you're sitting on it today. Probably.
Wait. There are
It
some
could be.
dirty ass people in California. Okay, so I would, I would pump the brakes on that prediction. You maybe catch something.
You might just
have
catch something.
homeless people wear the masks. How come we don't have homeless people going to Target with a mask? Why don't they hand them a mask? So it's become this whole epidemic of like all this crap, and then homeless people have more rights than I do. Now, when Newsom released all those inmates into the streets, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Shot Caller. It's a really good movie. I thought they'd look like that, but oh my God, we got these scrawny, nasty looking guys that look like they're on drugs that came into my town. I'm like, this is disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
And you have them exposing themselves in the streets, you know, their kids, their families, like half our businesses are going down because they will not reduce the taxes for the businesses. They will not lower the rents. And it's just the whole city, they just care more about this whole area, basically just cares more about philanthropical agendas like $30,000 in compost toilets, not in, you know, putting the homeless and the crazies somewhere. And that's partially Reagan to blame when he didn't want to give them meds, which they should have, you know, kept doing. Right. So it's just between masks and then they give them money in the street, like homeless people. Like when you do that, you're empowering them and giving them the carte blanche to come back. I would not give a homeless person money. I give them a kick to the head before I give them money. I'm sorry. I don't want them around me. Do you want them around you?
No, of course not. No way.
Of course not. Fucking Rick. Of course.
Hell no.
This shit.
It's disgusting.
Sure?
I got a torch. Hold on.
You're sure about that?
You know, I heard in San Francisco they were giving $600 to homeless people. So yeah, and so you know they don't have jobs or anything anywhere to go to, so they spend these $600 on like Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff like that, and drugs, of course.
Amazon Prime.
Dude, yes.
Amazon Prime. I love it.
Amazon Prime. I don't even have Amazon Prime.
Yes, you do.
They get an EBT card.
You have Amazon Prime.
If you use EBT on your Amazon, then it's cheaper to pay for Prime. And there's a guy in the news.
What?
Wow. No. You're homeless.
Is this real?
He's homeless by choice because you're getting free money. You get a card. You get an Obama phone. You could live anywhere you want to.
Which is, that is a weird conundrum about California, though, is the homelessness like that. That's a totally I don't quite understand
like that whatever it is, they got that
all
wrong.
I mean, they have a whole fucking city like Skid Row, right? Now it extends 15 or 20 blocks.
Oh, not all of LA. I mean,
it's 75,000. The inhabitants is like 75,000 or something, right? In that area. Like I heard it's a very large number. They have actual almost like it's a city of homelessness. It's California just went stupid.
It's Gavin.
On some of that shit.
It's Gavin's fault. Gascon, because Gascon ruined San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
So
is he being recalled?
What?
Is he being recalled? I think he's being recalled, right?
No, actually, I headed that campaign in Santa Monica. I was one of the people heading that whole recall campaign. I'm proud to say. No, they stopped it temporarily, but he goes out of his way to release criminals and pedophiles into the streets, which is perfectly fine, right? Just let the local pedophile out. And it's scary because they make these laws that regular people have to live with. We don't have personal security. So you want to defund police, you want to defund this and that, you want to do catch and release. Okay, fine. But that doesn't help the people. And I feel like there's no one's doing anything for the actual citizens. Now, the next thing they want to do is allow women who are in the third or fourth I don't have kids. I don't want them. But in that last trimester of pregnancy, they want them. Gavin Newsom is trying to pass a bill where taxpayers actually are allowed to, we're paying our taxes into people who want a late trimester abortion in California. So we'll pay for your ticket. You could pay somewhere to stay for a week, anywhere you want to, and doctor's fees. So instead of like maybe putting a kid up for adoption and giving some couple a chance to be parents, that will just kill it. It's
it's terrible.
It's disgusting.
Let me ask you a question about because you ran for mayor, right? If I'm not mistaken, you ran for mayor of Santa Monica, or
no, city
council. Well, let me ask you a question about the elections in California. Do you think that politicians are elected or installed?
Installed 100%. And I'm looking at that now in our city council. We have this progressive idiot named Jackie Gleam. What's her name? No, Gleam Davis. She lives all the way in this other part of town. She says there's no homeless issue in downtown Santa Monica. So what my goal is to get her address, put it on a business card and give it to all the homeless people so they can go to her house for free baths, food.
Yeah. If she has a
But
fountain in the front yard, she can have
Right?
people there.
Because she keeps out any moderate voice in the city council is what we're learning. So, don't ever visit Santa Monica. Go spend your money somewhere else in a different area.
I've been to Santa Monica once. It was okay. It was good. It was.
Yeah, I went back there.
I wouldn't go back.
I had a friend who got married back there, and I think in 2007. It was nice. It was nice, but this was many, many years ago. I mean,
It was nice.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Yeah, shit has changed quite a bit.
My wife and I, we went to Skid Row at night because we had nothing else to do.
Why? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude, the homeless person.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
No, we were just driving there. The first thing we do is when we was driving there is we see cops just pulling over people. So it was back, it was back then when cops did stuff.
Y'all do weird shit, bro. That's wild.
I know it was fucked up, man. I would never go back.
Yeah. Yeah, after the things you saw that traumatized you. But wait,
she wanted to go to Compton. I was like, no, we're not doing that.
It's safer there.
Yeah,
really?
Probably is. Yeah, significantly, because the houses are what, $5 million in Compton now. I mean,
no,
like
not actually.
property values.
Yeah, they're still lower. I mean, you don't have the issues there. Do you think if a homeless person went into South Central asking for money?
That's not gonna work out.
They're not gonna work. They're not gonna make money. You're right. It is safer.
Work out
no, it's true.
You're absolutely right.
That's true. Yeah, you know what? That's why the property values are going up over there. But in San Francisco, though, didn't they have like the slight rebellion with the school board?
The what?
So in San Francisco, their school board had a slight rebellion. Right now. Basically, 4 hyper progressives were taken out by 4 moderates because they were just like, "This is enough of this shit. Like, it's getting just out of control." So, I mean, eventually, right? If you swing too far one way, shit has to start coming back. So, I mean, you probably are going to start seeing more of that in California at some point.
It's when your policy making isn't directed at any sort of like reasonable change. It's just this like political show. And that's when the actual society fucking suffers, is when that's not even taken into account. It's just all this bullshit. But one more place I wouldn't want to live either right now was where I used to think it would be a great place to live, but Canada. Ben, what the fuck? They really turned a quick 180.
Those maple syrup motherfuckers, they went all in, bro.
Boy, they really turned into a dictatorship on a fucking dime, real quick.
Man, all it took,
and we did. So Ben and I did last episode 87. It was just Ben and I. Rick wasn't able to make it. Which is fine. We all got to take our time.
But that book burning was awesome, by the way. Y'all should have gone.
Right, no, exactly. Yeah,
I love how I dropped that at the beginning of the episode. Rick said a fucking book burning. I fucking laughed. I laughed so hard about that.
But nonetheless, we had even talked about this and said that this protest, like, holy shit, like this. You want to talk about an effective protest? I don't care what political leanings you have.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like, hey, like, it's just the logic of like, here, let's just park, let's unify, let's park all our fucking trucks, shut shit down when the supply chain's already, fucking hanging by a thread. And you want to hurt them where it counts, hurt them in the pockets.
Yep.
What are they going to do? Oh, we can beat you with a baton, shoot a rubber bullet in your mouth. Oh, okay. Well, you don't have the keys for my fucking truck to move it. So you can kill me 300 times. We still win. So fuck, dude. Trudeau enacted I forgot what the actual title of this.
It's Emergency Powers Act.
The Dictator Act. Oh, go ahead.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is. I mean,
he turned a switch. They didn't even enact this thing during like COVID, none of this shit. But they do now, right? And all of a sudden, too, it's funny that like once this shit starts bleeding over across the border.
I'm correcting. Emergency Measures Act.
Emergency Measures Act, where basically like no holds barred. Anybody involved is getting their bank accounts frozen. It's gone so far as
the GoFundMe.
Oh shit! Yeah, they're publicly reaching out to people that have supported these causes and donated as little as like fucking $50, and they're outing them, like they're doxing these people.
Yeah, 92,000 people got doxed on that.
Wow, absolutely.
Was I on there?
Yep.
Did my name come out?
Twice.
Really?
Twice.
Yeah. I did it twice. You're
twice.
Right.
Yeah. You were just like, oh, money. Am I
gonna be famous now?
Yeah, you already are every day.
No,
every day. You're the shining star. Yeah. So we got fucking Trudeau. pass these emergency measure acts, and the crux of a protest, right? The crux of being, I guess, just causing public discourse or civil disobedience is doing it peacefully. And that's what these people were doing. Now, of course, you heard all the bullshit where they said like they were like ransacking homeless places to take their food, which is total horse shit. Like first, like we discussed like before, if I'm gonna go to McDonald's, right? I'm not gonna fucking crash the local food bank to take their fucking canned food. First off, how the fuck am I gonna open it? Second, it's just not, it's dumb. So they tried to propagate this bullshit story where they're trying to act like these truckers are doing this and that, but really they were enacting a true peaceful protest. Now, whether you agree with them or do not, that's not the point. See, the point of protesting is whenever individuals feel like they've been violated with their social contract. And that's what these people feel like. Agree or not, they have that right. And that is what freedom essentially is about. I mean, and I brought up, and in no way, and I'm not trying to say these are the same things, but when you look at anything that happened in Birmingham, Alabama, if you look at what happened in, you know, when it came to that civil disobedience, they hit them in the pocketbook. They did it peacefully, and that's how you're supposed to protest. So the way that he commandeered these rights and basically went full dictator was just a complete farce. That's not freedom in any way. And I don't think anybody who believes in freedom thinks that should be right. Like whether you're left, right, center, you're a fucking alien, whatever the fuck you are, that is not freedom in any way.
And this is a weird one that kind of it sort of blends the lines a little bit. Jasmine, what do you, I haven't heard you talk much about the really Canadian protests. What do you think?
I was hoping they'd come down for Super Bowl. I was waiting to do a piece for the Daily Caller to speak to people there at the convoy.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Protest.
Shout out.
That'd been awesome.
Monica. Yeah. So I already covered one anti-mandate rally in Santa Monica, and I spoke to different people from different political backgrounds, and no one's for all these mandates. And then a lot of us are behind what they're doing. What Trudeau is doing is completely, it's something I never would have seen in a million years. Like every single freedom has been taken away from people. I mean, what are they going to take away from you next? What kind of cereal you eat? Are they going to have people coming to your homes and doing all this stuff? I mean, it's really scary. And it's beyond, it's really like raping someone of their dignity, their, you know, what they've stood for, and just everything. You can't even think, you can't do anything. And they're just shaming you and outing you and treating you like a redheaded stepchild if you've stood behind anything. And it has nothing to do with politics. It's annoying when people are like, oh, you Trumpers, you Republicans don't wear masks. I'll tell you something. I have friends that are liberals, completely liberal, like way more than Benito.
Yes.
And they didn't want to take a vaccine. No, I mean, real, like.
Yeah. Great. I know what you're saying.
They don't want to.
I don't know. Ben is pure communist sometimes.
And the fact that it was being shoved down people's throats is what really turned people off to the vaccine more than anything else. And, you know, I know a lot of nurses, so I hear a lot of things. And I feel like this is about individual choice. This isn't about a government or some jackass like Trudeau. Like, how tall is he?
I don't know. Maybe like 4'9" or something.
4'9". Wait.
Gloves off. Let's
hold on. You know what? We're gonna go straight to the fact check.
I love it
for the fact check.
No, it's probably like 4'9", 5'1". I don't know, something like that. With shoes, probably 5'5".
All of them are short.
Oh,
that's exactly,
you know what? Oh my God. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is hot off the presses from a quick fact check. Mr. Trudeau's 6'2". He is my
no, there's no way.
Easy. You know, 1.8.
He can dunk, huh?
Just say 1.88 meters.
He can dunk.
He can't fucking
dunk.
I'm
curious though. Hold on. Let's stop a second. I'm curious. So why was it?
I love it though.
Why did you think, Jasmine? Why was your impression that he was really short? I'm curious.
Because he's acting like a dictator.
There you go. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of psychology.
Napoleon complex.
Yeah. I think he's horrible, and I don't know what he's trying to do. Is he trying to get people to like flee Canada, or it's horrible?
You know what I think? I think honestly.
Huh?
What's that?
Oh,
this is honestly what I think. Ooh. I think he's caving to press. I think he doesn't know what the fuck to do. I don't think there's a lot of leaders that haven't been tested like this, dude. March in 2020, shit was real as fuck. And you got to see our elected officials actually have to do some real work, and they didn't like it. It exposed a lot of people. That's the bigger picture here. Like, you look at all these different mayors, or like when the George Floyd protests, it's like, holy fuck, we've got to deal with COVID. And then these, like, there's race riot, like, people, they panicked. They had never really been put to the test like this ever, and they got exposed. So that's, to me, like the big, and I think that's where Trudeau's at right now. I don't think he knows what the fuck to do. I think he's caving from pressure from corporate America. Like, motherfucker, you better get these dudes off the road quick, or you're fucked.
Well, I just think it's a bitch move, right? I mean, it's just like that. Dude, like,
for sure. That's what I'm saying.
When you get into a fight, you go get the teacher when you're getting your ass whooped. Like, now you want to go get the teacher. I think he just
no. That's 100% what it is.
Bitch move.
What ended up happening in Canada, though, because he enacted these emergency powers to freeze people's bank accounts, was that people started pulling out their money. Even people who had nothing to do with this movement. They started pulling out their money, and so the banks crashed.
Okay,
earlier today. No, they did.
We did a fact check on this.
No, just because you didn't read it on CNN or MSNBC doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Okay. No. I checked Reuters. I checked AP. I even went to Newsmax. I went to all.
It was all over Twitter. People were asking what was going on with the banks.
Twitter, it was shot down within 3 posts. It was fucking Axmia. But the national wide server had gone down. PS5 went down, bro.
Think about it though. If the government here in America is going to stop you from taking out your money from the bank, wouldn't you want to take it out and be like, nah, screw this, I'm going to put it in crypto for now until things settle down?
Are you fucking serious? You're not seeing what's going on with the stock market? Dude, everything
in America's fine.
Manipulated. They're fucked. What are you talking about? It dropped 1.8%. Today? It dropped 672 points. The market's fucked. But people can't do anything about it because it's all rigged anyway. So I don't know.
I'm just saying the banks in Canada suffered for this. People were panicking. They didn't. Well, of course. Give anyone who you gave $10, $50 to this thing, they're going to stop your account now. You're marked. And I'm going to take all my money.
But remember, Canada's different though. Canada hasn't. So that's the one thing we have in the United States that Canada doesn't though. We have a true First Amendment.
Not really.
They can actually. No. Civil penalties are different, right? You're right. There's some aspects in the First Amendment that can be utilized against American citizens, but in Canada, they can actually be prosecuted for the things they say if it's offensive. So they actually have laws that if they say certain things, they don't have. See, Canada is actually substantially different than the United States when it comes to freedom of speech. Like, I can right now say that Biden shits his pants, and
he does,
and looks, and I don't know, and I don't know, something else. He fucks Smurfs, right? There's a possibility though. I do my best. But there's that possibility though that they could come back to me about that in Canada if they deem it as inappropriate speech against the government and whatnot. We don't have that here. I can freely say that. You can't necessarily do that in Canada. It's a different game. So it's not the same as the United States. They do have different laws.
Yeah, it's still going too far. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're right. I mean, and I wouldn't trust my money being in crypto. So many people get hacked. A friend of mine got $5,000 taken out of his crypto by a hacker.
Wow.
So I believe in like cold hard cash and credit cards, debit cards. But I think those people did the right thing. You should take your money out because they're going to freeze your money. Well, screw you.
Yeah, take it out.
Yeah.
Take it out.
For sure.
Yeah. Same thing with PayPal. I mean, PayPal, people are wondering, if we ever deprive like Russia, Ukraine, or Germany, from trading on SWIFT, it's like, what are they going to do? Use PayPal? People just going to turn to PayPal, to Venmo, and all this. Not everyone uses PayPal. There's actually a class action lawsuit against them.
Yep, there's a big class action lawsuit against them. Not only that, but for fees, but for the fact that they're locking out merchants and everything else. There's a lot going on against PayPal right now. PayPal is going to have some serious issues in the next couple of years. That's they're really going to take some serious hits. And actually, I think they lost market value in the last quarter. So they did lose about 8 to 9% initially off of their earnings list because they are having to report things now. And now, they're also having to report, I think, anything over $600 or something. There's an issue now. They have to report a tax structure.
I can't stand PayPal. Yeah, I've been banned from PayPal, and you
Oh,
don't
really?
That's crazy.
Well, they had $3,000 of mine, and they weren't releasing it. They thought that this ID belonged to someone else. It was an eBay thing. So I called up and I asked them where they were after going back and forth. Oh, we're in Omaha. I'm like, I'm coming down there to bomb you. And the woman hung up on me. Next thing you know, my money. That's what happens when you hold people's. I never
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? You're right tonight. Anything you say, just don't want to get bombed. Okay, we're good.
No, but you're like a normal progressive. You're not crazy.
I do
so
my
it's
best.
okay. I could deal with it.
No, but it's.
Have you seen
the
the viral video of the lady who crossed over to the Chase Bank across the counter because they were charging her fees and were holding her check? No,
what? That's
yeah. There was a viral video. I think it was here in
crazy.
Houston. I'm not sure, but some
Probably.
lady
Probably, dude.
she went to go cash her check.
You
at
don't fuck with our
Chase,
money.
and they kept it because she had so many overdraft fees, so they didn't cash it. And she got so mad that she went
Flipped
over the
out.
counter, over the COVID barriers too, and everything.
That's a lot of plexiglass.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
God
dude, she
forbid.
went over the
That's like a
fucking
hockey
COVID
move,
barriers.
bro.
This is
You
a
know
big
what I'm saying?
woman too.
Hockey
I
games
was
got
very
some
surprised at
plexiglass.
her agility when it came to this check. So she goes over the check and she like threatens the teller. She's already on the other side. The teller gives her back her check and she walks out like cussing, like, I can't believe they're gonna keep my money for this shit and this and that. And I don't think she was arrested. I think she just walked out the Chase, with her check.
She was arrested. She jumped over the fucking counter.
No, dude, I don't know.
Do you
I
have
mean,
a
they
Take
job?
a deep breath.
She probably got a
Huh?
fine for $30. What?
Do you
Nah,
have
nah,
a job, Benny?
Who, me? Oh yeah. Yes.
No, I mean like you
course I got a
actually
job.
work. You have a job.
Oh yeah, I got a job. Yes.
What's your
ma'am.
job if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm in cancer research.
Cancer research. So you
Yes.
actually get paid from like a company to do cancer research, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
Did you ever go like so you don't go like chasing after your dad's Tesla asking him for $50 or anything like that, right?
No. My dad, we're Mexicans, man.
Okay,
We
I
would
just
never
wanna
drive a
make sure.
Tesla.
So you're not a true progressive. Okay, good.
No. See, that's the thing
Wait,
though. That's
Wait a
the
second,
problem.
what happened?
Is that Democrats, when I was growing up, right? Democrats
Oh,
were
boy.
still the guys that worked, right?
Yeah.
We were the blue collar. We were the guys that they were the guys in the coal mines. They're the dudes that worked they were normal guys. They're the construction dudes. They were under
Yeah, they held the
unions. They were
iron and
this.
sickle.
We had Ann
Okay,
Richards.
okay.
Richards-
Only on the weekends when you get
Ann
really
Richards
drunk,
was mayor.
you
Was
start talking about
governor.
that. Ann Richards was
Ann Richards
the
was governor.
greatest
We had
governor of Texas.
Democratic mayor.
Democratic
I mean,
governor.
fucking
What are
mayor.
the best things?
What am I
But
talking
you-
about? Governor. I'm sorry.
But you got to remember though, so that I think but see, that's the problem though, right? Like progressives have taken that California model, which is not what progressives are in the East Coast or Texas or the Midwest. See, we work. If you take the progressives in the Midwest and the East Coast, these were the people that built the country. That's what the liberals were. They just wanted a fair wage. They
Mhm.
wanted everyone to have a good a chance to make it, and they wanted equal opportunity.
That's
Everything else has gone to shit from that point, right? Because now you have people have taken the fact that we wanted equality and we want stepping stones. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I will always be one that will never. I think everyone should have equal opportunity, but they took that and then went and expounded upon this weird, almost religious type like zealotism, where it's like you give somebody something and they just run with it. So it's not just that you have to be cool with what someone thinks. Now you got to be cool with what this one fucking numbskull thinks in the corner that's like, cutting themselves. That there's certain things that you have to draw boundaries. And I just think that's where progressives have lost it. They just never drew a
That's so
boundary.
great. You're actually smart, so I don't think you're a real
do my
progressive.
best.
Because I mean, it's like,
Rick said this shit too. I
This
also
one-
shoot
down the
guns.
street, there's a man driving his Tesla, this older white guy. And it's a nice Tesla. Then you see the kid in his freaking his slippers. They weren't even like My Pillow slippers. They're just slippers,
Oh
like
my God,
crap
horrible.
slippers. And like his bitch just man-bun all over the place and his pajama type clothes,
Gotta put
chasing
your
after
hair-
his dad. Hey dad, can I have more money? Can I have some more money? The dad's like speeding off in that car. Because
That's where you're going with that earlier.
handouts. Huh?
But see, that's
No,
California though, right?
It's
Right.
disgusting.
It
I was
is.
going to ask. So, have you spent much time in Texas, Jasmine?
When I was younger, I was there quite a bit. Then even throughout like the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, actually, I was there a few years ago. I like it. I think it's a great place. I like the fact that they're mostly in the common sense party is what I call it.
Yeah, no. And well, the reason I even asked it was because it is funny. Like I have, I've lived here technically almost my entire life, but I do have friends that have moved to California, whatever. So the stuff I hear, like kind of what you're talking about, it blows my mind. And I went there. I've been there a handful of times over the course of my life. Most recently, it was quite a while ago, probably like early 2000s. So it's way different than what it is now. However, I will point out that like it is a completely different thing. So what's funny to me, right, is like your perspective on progressives and all this shit. Like you're living in a place where it has literally gone batshit crazy and nobody makes any fucking sense. Like it's almost like you're in ground zero for what am I trying to say? Like the birth, like all those ideas and those things that sort of created by or were allowed to exist from like Twitter and fucking the whole way that the world operates now is like the home, like you're in ground zero of that shit. Well, yeah. And it just seems fucking batshit crazy. I can't imagine like living there. That's why I was like, you should move here.
No, well, Florida. The problem is that like California wrote the handbook on progressiveness and other cities are somehow slowly adapting to this. Like Alvin Bragg in New York City, he's another one that just catch and release, just like Gascon.
Yeah.
And cities become ruined at the small city council level is where it starts and it just builds up. And that's why I'm just praying that all these like red states stay red and these filthy like progressives and these like the new wave Democrats, the new wave ones, not the normal ones like Benito, but the new wave ones stay the hell out of the red states and don't read them. And yes, you should have a questionnaire before they come there to see everything. I want to know who you voted for in the past 5 years. I want to see your social media. I want to see what you have on there. Yeah. Are you on Getter? Do you watch Real America's Voice? Do you buy My Pillow or do you buy Bed Bath & Beyond? Like it should go that deep. I'm sorry. Like I sponsor Mike Lindell all the way. Like we love his stuff. He has the best towels in the world. He does.
I bought my parents some bed sheets from My Pillow because they love Mike Lindell. They really do.
That's awesome. Mike,
you guys are fucking killing me.
I want to meet Mike Lindell like so bad. Like I just want to buy him lunch because I want to talk to him about his book. I think he's amazing, and you know, I have a lot of faith in Mike Lindell. That's all, and he does make the best towels.
This is like fucking.
You want to eat lunch?
You want to
eat lunch with him? You want to eat lunch with him with Goya brand products, by the way.
Okay, I'll do it.
Goya. You know, Goya's a big Trump supporting company. I love them too. So anyway.
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Oh God, you people.
Oh Jesus. No. I agree. I think like I stated, I just think right now we're in this weird arena where progressives, but see, I could easily say the same about right wing right now. I mean, you got some fucking guys that are part of the Trump, that whole little Trump nation that are fucking on a space rocket. What? These motherfuckers are
I've never seen one. What are you talking about?
Come on. These motherfuckers have lost their damn
they just chased Kamala Harris out of Dallas. This is no big deal. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh my God. You didn't.
Boys will be boys. You know what are you talking about?
Boys will be boys, right? They're like cornering in the motorcade with fucking big ass like jackboy trucks, and they're like trying to like run a motorcade off the road. There's you got some shit on one side, got some shit on the other side. I mean, some of these fucking Republicans are talking in the state of Texas. I mean, they want the fucking Handmaid's Tale over here. I mean, they want women in long dresses and like no abortions. Dude, that's what's fucking happening. We already know that. So right now we have in the state of Texas, if you don't know, and you know, whether or not you believe in abortion or not, it's completely like been shot down. It's 16 weeks and under, which is no choice at all for a party. So see, that's what, okay. So older Republicans used to be the party of choice. They wanted to give people personal freedom, personal choice. But we don't do that. No, we're not doing that now. No, we're not doing that now. We're telling women what to do. We're telling people how to do or what to believe. We're trying to establish religious dictums in schools. These are not things that you want to do. Oh,
I've never
really.
I mean,
it's state of Texas all day long. Look, so
I don't think
we have so several cases have already been brought up about any type of like prayer in school, etc., like that. We actually have several cases pending right now regarding that. When it comes to the 16
That wouldn't be a
weeks,
bad thing.
as you know, for women, you do not know basically how pregnant. You don't really know you're fully pregnant at between 12 and 16 weeks.
Yeah,
you cannot get an abortion. Not necessarily.
Come on,
No,
you're
no,
missing your period the first. You spread your legs, you let some guy ejaculate.
Not necessarily.
And then you wonder about it for the next 12 weeks, right?
Now, okay, right. The physical action we all understand, but the actual knowing that you're pregnant, not all women miss a period. And there is several situations in regards to that. I mean, at 12 weeks is a bit much.
It's a tight window.
It's a tight loop.
I'd be calling the girl, but like, hey, have you had your period yet? Have you had your period yet? Dude, I was from like day one, okay?
You have child support out there or something?
Maybe.
We're just paying it. I think that if you want, so if you want to be conservative, right? Give people the rights and their choices. Right. If you want to be an asshole, be an asshole. If you want to do this, do that. And then we're also another state that doesn't legalize or does not allow the legalization of marijuana. We don't have that.
That's good. Texas, they shouldn't, because if all of the people smoking it in the cars in California, you know how many car crashes there are? I ride a motorcycle and these jerk offs are in their car with their pot and they just get away with it. It's not medicinal.
Well, I guess what you're saying, right?
And it smells bad.
See, but you got to look at it. So California takes shit and they fucking throw it. They go all the fucking way in, right? But if you go to Colorado, first state to really truly legalize, just regular usage, you don't have that problem. I just think that if you take a moderate approach or if you take a look at legalization, I think it's big because right now, so I have family that lived in Colorado. They had kids. So one of the kids had a slight like issue, right? Yet they had fucking tutors with the kids 8 hours a day for years. You don't get that shit here in Texas. Like we're fucking lucky we got a book here.
That's not
like
true.
We're lucky. It's fucking true. It's fucking
definitely
true. We're lucky we have substandard education like a motherfucker out here, right? And whereas you see other states, they have way better high levels of education. Now, what they're teaching them, man, not so good. But at least they have people trying to teach them. Over here, we don't have that shit.
Teaching them what? Having a transgender come to like your kid's kindergarten class reading to you like a man.
Hey, look, like I said, you guys fucking go for it. You guys
I don't think so. Not me. I'm not
your
one
state.
of those
Your state fucking goes for it. I can't help that shit, okay?
Pennsylvania has it.
Look, there's a bell curve, right? There's a bell curve. You motherfuckers are all the way over there. But we're all the way over here when it comes to substandard education, substandard resources, things of that nature. So just getting in the middle is where everyone, so I think that's where the difference is. And while Texas is cool in the aspects of freedom, it's really not, because there are some things that are being, held up.
Are they still doing drag queen story
beliefs.
hour?
What is
that still a thing? Drag queen story hour?
No, they do the story hour and they're having it's really, honestly, too far to the right, too far for the left isn't good. It's for anyone, like people. It just shows that you're serving some other agenda. So
exactly.
I am a conservative, obviously, but I think everyone knows that by now. It's like cat's out of the bag. But I honestly feel that, they have a transgendered person or just a man who's just confused in his freaking women's clothes reading to your child. And I feel that's really confusing, especially when they're that age. They shouldn't be seeing that shit. And then going into the same bathroom and then a little girl gets raped by a boy because he feels gender fluid today. So it's like, you're either male or female. You could be homosexual. That's fine. But you're either born with the thing or you're not born with a dick. And that's it. Women should be wearing skirts and like not long skirts necessarily, but they should dress like women. You see girls outside today, you don't know who the girl or the boy is from behind because they demasculinize these poor boys into wearing skinny jeans and these bitch buns, like the real bitchy buns.
Hold on.
But Jasmin, the worst part about that,
you don't have it going on yet. And they make them carry bags. It's just this whole thing.
She's right. Like there's definitely here's the thing. Like there's definitely
chip and they make them carry bags.
It's being encouraged, right? Like there is an effect on society with this, right? And it's one thing to let somebody's individual. So I'm all for anybody, if they want to individually express themselves however they want to, that's fine. But to Jasmine's point, if you get too far where you're like making these rules almost in denial of like separate gender roles, which I've said this before on the podcast, I don't know if they've existed for fucking millions of years or however the fuck long humans have been alive. Like, that's not, you can't say that that's not a real fucking thing, right? Masculinity and femininity as it's attached to both the male and female genders. That's not a fake fucking concept, okay? It does exist. However, you can still honor somebody's individual right to do whatever, but hey, there is a different bathroom for this and that.
It's not just the bathrooms. It's just not the bathrooms.
No, right, but that's the most
also the
specific
sports. It's when my little girl
the
grows
sports
up.
is fucked
Okay,
up.
When my little girl grows up to play soccer or to swim or goes to karate class, she's gonna get roughed up by a dude. Okay, a guy with a who claims to be a woman.
A guy with a woman with a guy with a dick. Guy with a dick.
She's a guy with a dick.
Roughed up by that motherfucker.
He's gonna rough up my little girl because he says he's a woman that day. All right.
Right,
and that's the world we're gonna walk into with our kids.
Yeah, but it's not only that. Your daughter, if she wants to go to college and she's going to go, let's say, on an athletic scholarship, she's now up against guys who are transgender women.
Yeah.
And even though you have your thing cut off, you're on hormone suppressors, ignore my cat. He's just trying to get my attention. You could be on all the hormone suppressors and everything, but no one's ever really seen investigated what the emotional impact it is on young girls when they have to now compete against boys and everything, and even maybe be deprived of a scholarship.
Well, you see that Penn State swimmer, right? Y'all see that Penn State swimmer.
Let them compete against each other. What?
Yeah, the Penn State swimmer. So they got a male. Female now. That transgender female that had swim in college already. Basically competing against all the female swimmers now. Of course, she's setting records. And I'm not trying to dead name. I'm saying she's setting records, beating the piss shit out of everybody. There's just a reality, right? When it comes to sports, like it's just reality. Men are going to be faster, stronger. And I think I'll even touch on what Rogan talked several times about is in MMA. That's even more disgusting. Like that's the most disgusting.
Yes. No, sorry. Yeah,
that's the most disgusting shit in the world. Like she beat the shit.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen this fight? Have y'all seen the fight?
No.
I haven't seen the video. No.
It's a fucking snuff video. She beat the shit out of her.
That's
it was horrible. And the ref probably should never be a ref. It was that bad. Like it was horrible. So she ragdolled her. It was bad.
He was in the military before, though. You forgot that part.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
And,
like
he was a male for about 30 years too. So
well, he also saw the New Zealand lifter, right?
We talked about that on the show too.
We touched upon that too. I think once again, that's bullshit. If you've spent at least 25, 30 years of your life, and I don't think this is controversial. This shouldn't be at least in that sense.
Not only that, but competing. Like it's not even spent time as like a male, but like compete, like the Penn State swimmer, right? Competed as a male. Am I wrong? Wasn't that the case?
No, you're right. Too.
Yeah,
you're right. You competed in college, I believe, as a male.
At the collegiate level as a male.
Dude, did you see that British rapper? Y'all see that British rapper? 2 years ago, he decided. He said, "I'm going to be a woman today." Competed in a lifting competition. He broke like the world champion. No, he broke like the world record for deadlift for a female. And then he goes, "I'm a male now," but my name's here. It's true, right? I want everyone to feel like they have a spot, right? You don't want anybody to feel like they don't. I think that there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think that at some point there are women that have busted their ass and done everything. They've not cut the corners. They fucking worked hard. They worked out every day. They've done everything they were supposed to do. But there's just a reality whenever you're up against someone that is stronger or faster than you. And it's not fair, because I'll be quite honest, most of the transgender females that crossed over, they were okay,
but now they're fucking superstars when they crossed over. Right.
Right.
And that's the sad thing. And it does, I think, to touch the Jasmine point, it does fuck, and to Rick's point, I think it fucks with their scholarships. That's a lot of young women that are never going to get that.
And their self-esteem as well, because here they are like doing everything they're trying to. And I can't even, they can't say anything, first of all, because then they become horrible and like insensitive. And if this is what they want, I spoke to a gay guy a few weeks ago at an anti-mandate rally in Santa Monica, and he specifically said with transgenders, they should just compete against each other and leave it as that. Then you hear on the other side of this, someone once said that a lot of transgender people rape people because they don't have rights and they don't get the same opportunities, and they'll keep committing sexual crimes. And I'm not friends with the person anymore, because that's just the most ass backwards.
Yeah, that's right. There's it goes to both extremes, right? There's people
that's weird.
There's people that just hate. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But speaking of women that bust their ass, that's what we're just talking about here. Hillary Rodham Clinton recently. Jasmine, you want to bring us into this topic, because I know you're really.
I cannot stand her.
You were really excited about talking.
Oh, come on!
Ben loves her.
What's
going on?
We have to, because more people need to speak about this before it gets brushed under the carpet with, we're going to war, we're going to get bombed. The more he does that and like gaslights us, I mean, this has to be talked about, because basically you're hacking into the White House computer. And when you're doing that, what are you saying to the nation? Are you saying it's okay to just hack into there and get our codes and get our secrets? And how about the FBI? And they knew about this. Where were they to protect the American people at this point? And can you sue the FBI as an individual citizen? No, you can't, probably, because I think they breached her contract to us, and I believe that she will not get away with this if more people talk about it. Of course she had him do this, and her lawyer wasn't working for her at that time, maybe. And the best part of this whole thing, I'm just asking you for this information. It's not for any specific client, so you want to clear yourself that way. All right, fine. I hope she gets caught. She has to get caught. Do you guys think she had anything to do with this? I do, wholeheartedly.
I think so too, but I think it's hard to prove it though. I want to say that maybe she's smart enough to cover her tracks. So, she never specifically, you're not going to find a smoking gun that says, hey, find this information for me from Trump at the White House. You're going to find something like, hey, I need opposition research. Do what you can. And here's a lot of money for that, more than what you should be paid for. So I think that's where it is. So I think there will be people, being caught about this and being prosecuted, but will it get to Hillary? I don't know. I wish it would, though.
It has to, because they're like the dirtiest people. So you need to stop really quick. I mean, to rewind back to like the Epstein files that came out in TMZ. Someone we know that's sitting here sold a bunch of those plane logs and everything, and those photos and the David Copperfield phone messages to those news outlets, because my friend was an investigator on that case. So you go into the flight logs, which I have like 87 pages of. Clinton is on every single one of those on a flight with underage girls.
Oof.
Wow.
And I have the proof of this. I have the flight log still. Then you have Naomi Campbell on there. Like, what was she doing on there? You have all these other people. So I believe that the Clintons are very shady, 100%. And I'm sure I just don't want her to get away with it. Why should she be able to get away with it?
No, I get you. No, you know what? You're not going to hear me. I mean,
I hope we bust.
I can't stand her, but I don't think so. I think that they're Teflon. I don't think there's nothing that's going to stick to them anyways. I mean, like, she already has plausible deniability. The reality is that that's what happens with all these people in like these hyper powerful positions, right? They fuck over a lot of people. I mean, you could kind of say there's a body count around them, right? Nothing's happened.
Oh no, that's the
nothing's
thing. That's
going to happen. So if you think a little investigation that was done incorrectly is going to stick on her, no,
it has to. It has
Jasmine,
to.
You mentioned Epstein.
Yes.
Think about this trial for Maxine. What is it?
Yeah.
She had an entire trial happen, and not one name came out about the people that that she was working with, or her clients. Not one name came out, but yet she went through an entire trial. Nobody asked her. Nobody requested this information. Nobody bothered to inquire who her clients were. Where's the black book?
G code.
I
have the black book or a copy of some of the clients.
Oh boy,
Dude,
I don't want that
Hey,
book. I got no problems. I got 99 problems, and I don't want to.
Hold on.
Send it over. Send it over.
Hold up. Skip the noise.
Rick.
Skip the noise exclusive.
The flight logs are basically the black book, and then those messages from the secretary, like there's some from a famous magician, you know, when they would say, I wanted to take a Russian class, 27 minus 12, you know, you do the math, and you could just put two together.
Wow.
So
wow,
that's gross.
Yeah, it is
That's
gross. And you know, of course she's smart. She's not going to give out all the clients on there, and she's going to die there either way.
Yeah.
No, for sure. The problem is that what makes this whole thing smell fucked up is that you have somebody like that on trial, right? In normal circumstances, like any kind of criminal activity, you're going to get the shakedown. They're going to get the deals made, things like that. Names are going to come out. But what's, I think, disturbing about this is you get the impression that like ain't shit going to happen. Ain't nobody getting revealed. Just like with Hillary, just like you said, Jasmine, and nothing's going to happen because it's all
Hail dog.
You know what I mean? That network is already there. It already exists. And so nothing really is going to happen. I don't know, man. I hope it does, because there's definitely fucking evidence, right? Like Ben said, there's lives attached to this whole shit.
Well, yeah, but also those poor girls that were actual victims, real victims. Epstein's they need their day as well. And
they do.
You know, I think the worst part in all of this as well is, you know, people have to start being accountable. And I have a feeling when there's so much shit brewing and so many secrets, it's going to take one weak link to break and crack if they feel that shit's going to come down. And maybe they think we're going to die in a few days, and maybe they'll just spill their beans. I mean,
I don't
hopefully
think so.
that's the case.
Now they're pretty good at finding that weak link, and they go missing after going walking a dog in the park. It doesn't work out well for that weak link. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unfortunately, that's the political machine we live in, right? Anytime something important happens, someone dies, and it always ends up that way. I mean, you could you know, like the more and more I look at, so I don't know if you guys had a chance on Netflix, there's the MLK tapes, and but the more you hear, he was shifting his message into economic disparity, which was not going to work with the narrative that at that point the United States wanted to deal with. So then you start hearing more about his killer. You're like, what the fuck is really going on here? So to say that this country or anyone's above doing these things and then covering up their tracks by making people disappear, even someone as public as him, they're gonna get away with whatever the fuck they want to. I mean, the only way something's gonna change is somebody big, something massive happens, and even that's kind of scary, right? We find out it's not that we don't already know that it's all kind of a game, a farce, but to really have the evidence of this farce, fuck, man, that's a complete collapse of a whole social contract and the structure of our government. I mean,
it's coming out.
That by itself is terrifying.
It is, but slowly, you know, like in Michigan, that starts at a state level where it's been brought into to the police by a Democratic lawmaker that a bunch of machines were messed with prior to the election. So a Democratic lawmaker put that on the lap of the police there, and it's an ongoing investigation. So why did she do it? Is she a wolf in sheep's clothing? Is she just like, she doesn't want to have dirty hands if it comes down? Or maybe it's also because both parties, like both sides, deserve an answer. Do we have election integrity or not? Do we have issues within that system? And that's where it all comes down. But I agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly. So that's why I believe you're a moderate. You're not a progressive liberal.
He's not one of them that wears his mask in his fucking car while driving solo.
Hey, bro.
Right?
Hey, bro. Look, man, I don't want to get my AC that shit, okay? I don't want my AC to have COVID, bro. I'm very careful.
No, they still we see, but they're here too. Like,
are they?
I see. Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
like here's the thing. Like,
but everyone honks at them.
Yeah.
What the fuck you doing?
We cut them off on the freeway. We honk at them.
Yeah. Texas is special.
Way.
Yeah.
Well, Texas is special, and let me use that real quick to transition before we hit this break. We'll cover this one little topic. So recently we talked about this ad nauseum at the show. I don't remember the date, but when this law passed, so in an already gun crazy state, right? And we're very proud. All of us are. Shit, Jasmin included, the California representative of the show at this point is a gun owner, right? We believe in our guns. Okay. In Texas, it's a way of life. Yeah, America should be a way of life, right? But definitely down here, we take it very seriously. That being said, they did, Greg Abbott grease the wheels of progress for laws to come down, lifting even more restrictions to where, like Ben had said before we started recording, we kind of had, or in our conversation, Ben had mentioned how, all restrictions, basically you can walk around with a gun, open carry, no license, no training, no certifications, nothing. If you could purchase a gun, you can go wield it. So what we're starting to see now, and we predicted this on the show, that, hey, it might be a little bit of an issue going that far to the right. So yeah, unfortunately here in the Houston area, we have in the last week, and honestly, if you expand it bigger, the last couple months, there's been numbers of children suffering from gun violence. And most recently, Alvarez, I apologize, guys, the first name.
I think Anna, but double check.
Yeah. So a 9-year-old girl was shot. So what happened was this guy, and I forget his name, had been robbed, right? I don't know. Him and his girlfriend were coming up to an ATM. Somebody come up and rob them. And that's a whole nother thing. Harris County murder and violent crime statistics have gone through the roof.
Arlene Alvarez.
Arlene Alvarez. I apologize. Rest in peace, young lady. That's our hearts and prayers and feelings and everything. Heart bleeds for this family, because this is one of the worst things you could have if you have kids. One of the worst things you could ever imagine. But anyway, this guy got robbed, right? And so in wanting to, get revenge, right? Get the guy who had robbed him for honestly, I think it was $50. It wasn't even a big deal. Yep. In the big scheme of things. Went after, started firing. A truck driven by the father of Arlene, and they were on their way to it was Valentine's Day. They were on their way to Valentine's dinner, had sped away because it was he heard the shots and so he kind of panicked. He stepped on the gas. Well, I guess that alerted the suspect here, who had been robbed, to think that this was possibly the vehicle carrying the guy that had robbed him. So he fired shots, one of them striking in the head and killing Arlene Alvarez. So basically, the reason I bring this up is because I wanted to talk a little bit about how obviously we are very pro-gun here on Skip the Noise podcast, regardless of our political affiliations. Everybody here in unison on that.
Yeah, the crazy part is
as well as being
the liberal.
Being the liberal, right? He's very.
I'm the one that has the most. You guys don't have shit.
I know exactly. That's the thing. That's the irony.
I train once a week. I take all my. I work my pistol. I can shoot. So I train once a week. I do my thing. Right. But that being said, no, pump the brakes. I don't fucking like that fucking guy. Fuck him. I hate that motherfucker. I hate him. Fucking better work. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm not gonna get into that conversation again.
Yeah. Anyway.
But so I train with my weapon. So see, I think that's what the big problem is. I think we talked about this. We touched upon this thing. I was like, look, I'm a responsible gun owner, right? I go once a week and I put 50 to 100 rounds in, and I don't fucking miss. Because I respect what my pistol can do. I respect what all my weapons can do, right? And I'm not afraid to use them. That's the way we roll. But nobody fucking does that. Everybody out here just has a fucking gun now, and nobody practices. Is it expensive to expel rounds? Yes. Right now, at one point during the pandemic, it was 73 cents a round.
Yeah.
Especially but I carry, so I'm ready. That's what you need to do, and nobody does that shit. And so you have all these fucking jerk offs carrying these fucking pistols, and they don't even know what to do. I mean, they're fucking firing them upside down, sideways, through their legs,
to the air during New Year's.
Hurt. Hey, whoa! Yeah. Don't take that away from me. But but in the end, you do have this, and so it's become ridiculous. And I think that once again, just kind of touches the point where you swing way too far. This was a dumb decision by Abbott.
A lot of the shootings that occur because of that happen on the freeway.
Yeah,
or in vehicles, out of vehicles. Yeah,
road rage. Yeah, a lot of it's road
Dude, that's
rage,
crazy, man.
Cases.
Bro,
Like,
you got to be hot.
You just got to
when
be at
you're
the wrong
driving
place
now.
at the wrong time here in Houston, and boom, your life changes.
Recently too, we've out of the 4 largest metropolitan areas, New York, like I read some statistic recently, was like out of Los Angeles County, Cook County, which is Chicago, King County, which I believe is Brooklyn,
and Harris County,
Brooklyn Zoo,
and then Harris County had the highest at this point. We're leading the nation in as far as murder. So crime overall has reduced since 2020, but violent crime such as murder it's through the roof right now. And
Wild West.
It's kind of a tough. It's a tough statistics when you put in perspective the laws that have passed, and that's what we talk. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rick. I'm sorry, but just to finish the thought, though, it's like Ben said, when you have, we're already everybody's for guns. You're not going to run any kind of political campaign here in Texas talking about anti-gun and expect to get fucking anywhere.
Not gonna work.
But that being said, there were laws that were perfectly fine in place to encourage lawful and responsible gun ownership, right? There's checks. I mean, you had to go.
Even when you had to get a CHL license, it was stupid. Like it was 4 hours, and then you had like you got a chance. You had to hit a target like 50 something times. I mean,
but at least that's something.
Moron could pass that shit.
Right,
like
right.
It was from 7 feet away. If you can't hit it, you're either blind, or it really just took out, like once again the bell curve. It just took out the fucking like the dipshits on the very end. That
now the
blind
can carry guns now. So
I know.
Yeah.
The what?
What?
Sure.
Yeah, the blind. Well, yeah, the blind can carry guns now because you said you had to be blind. You couldn't get the CHL license.
Yeah.
So
boy, I
now the blind can carry guns.
I got nervous for a second. Yes, the blind can carry guns, and that's
rights too.
Terrifying.
Wait,
you
you
don't have to
something
worry
else?
about it. I thought something else
You've
for a
got to be
second.
joking. You have to be joking. I'm sorry.
No,
is
you
real.
can. Well, think about it. There is no restrictions to carry guns, say Texas. You can have it on you at any time.
You can literally. So this might be.
We can pop caps like a motherfucker out here, and nothing.
No, you can go to a You can go to a picnic, and lawfully see somebody walking down
and
the
open
little dirt
carry.
trail with a
Open carry, mind you. Not conceal anymore. Like we used to have to conceal. So you appendix, whatever, waistband carry. Now open carry.
So what coming from California, Jasmine, what I know you are a gun owner, and but what is that atmosphere like there in California? I'm genuinely curious as far as
you mentioned the G word,
gun rights and stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned G, the word G, the gun word or whatever. People they jump all over the place and they think you're the Antichrist. We have laws here, but if you want a gun, you can get one anywhere you want to.
Yeah.
But they don't encourage it. They don't encourage guns. They don't encourage any kind of weapon whatsoever. You used to be able to carry a knife. It could be, I guess, from this, like the width should be from pinky to index finger.
Yeah.
Wow.
4-inch blade.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be open though, so people could see it.
What the fuck you do with
So
the knife?
now that you have these crazy people in the street, if they see you with something, they're going to do something. They'll probably try to attack you. But the weird part is, if you're homeless, you're allowed to have a weapon. It's totally fine. They're not going to arrest you because you haven't done anything with it yet. Now, if you're a civilian and you have a weapon, they will take it away from you and, put you in handcuffs. You'll probably get out the next day, but it just goes back to the whole thing. And gun laws here are white. They're stricter, but I do believe people should have the right to carry a gun if they want to, but they should have proper training. It should be a whole psych evaluation, a full background check, known associates, everything. Because you could be getting a gun and then giving it to like your gangbanger freaking cousin or whatever who goes out and like mugs people for drugs.
It takes about 23 minutes to buy a gun in the state of Texas.
23 minutes?
It does not take 23 minutes.
It does. What are you talking about?
No.
Mira, I could just show you the safe. It takes about 20, 25 minutes to buy a gun in the state of Texas. Max.
I could walk to Walmart right now.
You know what? The only place that sucks is Cabela's. Cabela's takes forever to run the form, but that's it. And I can get them from out of
marriage
state.
license takes
anywhere.
like a week.
Yeah.
Better choices.
Is that tax? It's for the taxes, buddy. No, but in the end, no. Seriously, it takes about 20 minutes if I go in the state of Texas. They'll run the background check, and that's it. And then you get it. There's no hold period, no waiting. As long as you don't have any and current domestic charges,
that's crazy,
mind you, then you're still gonna get your fucking gun.
Do you have any?
Yeah. No, I'm a fucking
he has
Boy
more
Scout.
than any of us.
I got
really?
guns. Oh yeah. I love guns. That's my thing.
You see, I still say you're more of a conservative than you are a liberal.
That's what people say. That's what people say.
He's
but
been
I
hanging
like
out with
to
me a
shoot
lot,
guns.
and I've been convincing him to be conservative, and I'm getting to him very slowly. You know, he used to be.
I've had guns. I've had guns
Yeah.
since I was a kid. We grew up with guns. That's part of us is freedom. That's just what we believe in. That's what like my family we believed in. So, but nonetheless, you see this though. But you see what happens when there's too much freedom, right? You see, not too much freedom, but when people throw away common sense, right? To just let anyone carry a gun all the fucking time. You got people busting caps at each other on the freeway. I mean, what happens if you just fuck up, right? Let's say you're driving. You veer out of your lane. Everyone fucking does it. You don't look sometimes. Something happens. You fucking piss off some numbnuts. And next thing you know, it's fucking Vietnam. You're both firing weapons because I'm not going to fucking wait. He's not going to wait either.
Right.
And then for what? For what? For a slight infraction, for a slight inference, someone's going to fucking die. And that's the fucking problem.
Yeah, it's for no fucking reason, man. It's a perception of like permissibility. Like I can. That's what it is now. Like they know it's public. Like these laws or whatever. Like I can do what I want. Just like there's a sort of the misconception that basically if anybody comes into your house, you can shoot them dead in the state of Texas, which to some degree
that's
is
fine.
true. But there's
that's
right,
okay.
No, right.
You come out.
Right. No, that's a whole nother thing. But however, within that, there's still room for like legal discussion, right? There's still a conversation depending on what happens. Like it's not as open and shut as some people may think it is. And so in other words, my whole point is like these laws and this sort of opening of the restrictions, you get a little bit more of a gung-ho attitude, which, you know, maybe lead to some things. But I think with that, guys, we will go ahead and take this quick little break, let everybody get a chance to relieve their bladders, as it were. And just kind of meditate on the second half. I'm very excited. Once again, Jasmin, it's such an honor to have you on the show. You've been a perfect guest thus far, and will continue to be, I'm sure, for the second half. So when we come back, we'll get into a little bit what Jasmin's got going on, the one woman show, all kinds of exciting stuff. So anyway, let's take a little break, listen to some groovacious tunes provided by the handsome gentleman, Mike Tacklebox, and we will see you very shortly. And we're back, Party in the Back, second half underway. And once again, as I talked about in the intro of the show, our esteemed guest, Jasmin St. Please tell me, you've got this one woman show. I'm very interested to know what that's all about and what people can expect with that. What do you got going?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I'm having such a blast so far. And I like being on Party in the Back because everyone knows I think mullets are amazing. So with that said,
exactly.
So it's called A Weird Kind of Fame. And that's basically what I've lived in this bubble for the past 25 years, is having a weird kind of fame. You don't really know where you may have seen me, with the exception of someone here who saw me when I was 17 years old. But so I wouldn't
Thank
say
you for that.
It's not, you're welcome. It's not coffee. And people think like these one person shows are comedy, they're not comedy because then it pulls away from the meat of the story. There are probably parts that might be funny and that's it. But it's my whole life chronicled in 45 minutes to an hour and 15. So I was performing it in LA pre-pandemic. Then after that, I went to New York and I did a couple shows. I'll be back in New York at the Cutting Room. So like the Twitter handle is a weird kind of fame, or it's also on my Instagram with the dates. So I'm looking to go all over with it. But during the pandemic, right towards the end of it, I started my podcast to sort of build the audience, because we're in this era right now where we're having like this whole clash of cancel culture. But at the same time, you have a lot of younger kids that are just fascinated with the 90s and pop culture. So it's slowly but surely dragging them into it. And, you know, the listeners of the podcast, which is really cool. Only the cool kids, of course. And then obviously you come to the show.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have a show than I think most people always want to have like their life in like a movie picture or something, or a mini series. And that to me is so boring, because like any day of the week, I'd much rather go party with Tanya Harding than Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm like I'd probably be a lot cooler to hang out with any actress that would ever play me in anything anyway.
Have you ever met Tanya Harding? That seemed weird, oddly specific.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, man, just watch your knees.
Yeah, you rattled that name off so fluidly. It just led me to believe that maybe you had met her. Or, no,
I'd love to. I think she's a conservative as well, which is amazing. But I think she was the underdog, and I don't think they were fair on her. And I think her suitcase pimp husband at that time was probably the one that took her down that rabbit hole. But so it's a weird kind of fame. So, you know, definitely if anyone in Texas wants a show to come there, it's fine. I usually do like not necessarily comedy clubs, but theaters and so forth. And it's a fun time, like going down that whole journey of the 90s pop culture and up to where I am now. And it's sort of like trying to escape the whole Jasmin persona, where I go to Norway to do that. And I just don't, like in the show, I kind of reclaim the whole Jasmin persona that I created.
Yeah. So Norway.
I was going to say the one person format. No, it's okay. The one person format to do a show is actually quite effective. I saw Ed Asner do it. John Leguizamo did it too.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and it's a really good way to tell your story in your own way. And you're right, it does beat some actors, you know, portraying you on a television show or something like that, because it's your voice, it's your emotions. So yeah, I'm a really big fan of the one person story format that people put up there. Ed Asner did a great job of it too. So
he did. I've got to see his. I saw Mike Tyson's, and that's where like I really have stage fright.
That's a good
Tyson was a good one too. But because cool. They convey the story with their own emotion, you know, with their own tone, better than some actor who would have put up with that. So anyway, just a big fan of that.
No, I appreciate you for saying that. When I saw Mike Tyson's, I liked it, but I have stage fright. So when I was taking acting classes and I was going through improv school, you have no choice but to do improv, and just going to the sketch comedy school. I ended up at Second City, and you know, I made it through their whole big grad review, the conservatory and everything. And it's not comedy, it's just acting and improvising, but it's great. It's like where a lot of SNL kind of people have gone. So yeah, then the idea came to me there. And then my ex was somewhat involved with the show. He was like so gung-ho, and like, he just wanted to set this thing up for a miniseries because he was a TV person. I'm like, I just don't want to do that. I really don't. I don't want to taint myself like that, because I'm like,
it's a lot of moving parts.
Right?
Know? Yeah. It's a lot of moving parts. You got staff, you got cast members and production crew. No, it's just too much.
No.
Well, and you try to, and you can't force it. You can't force it to be something that it's not. And I think one of the cool things about you is like this, like the resume is very expansive, you know? I mean, you're at the end of the day though, you're an entertainer, right? You're performing for an audience, and it's really cool. People like you I really respect and like to, I mean, in my own way, I like to think of myself in the same, it's just like, fucking you do shit. You know what I mean? Like an idea pops in your head and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do that. Speaking of that, I kind of want to roll into your career in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Because this is
Oh my
very
God.
intriguing.
Yeah.
So if you want to like ECW,
Yeah.
and,
ECW,
holy
man.
fuck, dude! Like what? I don't even know where to start or what question to specifically ask.
Well,
but
let's
if we
see.
could,
So the place I really started is coming back to life on April 9th in California. XPW Wrestling comes to Pomona. So I sort of started in ECW wrestling. But my Rob Black is the one that brought me there because he knew the Dudley Boys. Then I was working for his promotion, XPW. Then I quit XPW and just went over to ECW through his introduction.
okay.
We
And
didn't
you
really,
said Rob
we
Black?
didn't- we didn't part on good terms. And
Okay.
here we are like 20 years later talking, and I'm going to go work for him when XPW comes back. And it's a great time for hardcore wrestling. I've always liked wrestling. I grew up watching it. I just never thought I'd end up in that field. But at the end of the day, I have a lot to thank him for guiding me into that world. But he didn't know it was also the thing that would pull me out of out of the adult film business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talk about like what was that bridge? Like how did and forgive me if I don't know the exact history, but yeah, how did that transition happen?
It's just I was at this point where, I never saw myself as an adult film star. I was a catalyst in American shock culture and
Right.
The voice of 90s shock culture. So I'm like, what am I doing? This is like really stupid.
Fuck yeah.
I just didn't want to be around anything with the business. Like my head was no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was already taking wrestling classes on my own. And
Nice.
I had so many other opportunities coming to me, not political ones, of course, but other cool ones. And I just I don't want to be in a company that had adult films and wrestling. And the thing with ECW was like I was already hosting like the Milwaukee Metal Fest, San Antonio Metal Fest, because I was into heavy metal. I still am. And I just, they had indie wrestling shows there. So I started managing there. Then when I circled back to California after that weekend, I got a hold of the Dudley Boys on my own. And the rest was just history working there. And it was really a great time. Yeah, because those are like diehard loyal fans. And anything with like a cult following is cool and has diehard loyal fans.
Yeah. No,
like
that
supporters.
Wrestling's great. So I grew up. I was
gonna say Kevin Smith supporters, but yeah. Okay.
Well, no, but like the wrestling is. So I grew up a wrestling fan as well when I was young, and not only just like when I was, obviously WrestleMania and the fucking Hulk Hogan, like that was the big deal. But as I started watching, like the broadcast, they had like NWA, right, with Ric Flair and Sting, and there was this whole other dynamic of this world that existed beyond the sort of like the big showcase thing. I've always been fascinated with like the lifestyle and this sort of subculture of pro wrestling. So I just find that interesting that you made that transition. And
it was fun.
Well, it just shows your growth. It shows your growth as like just not only just as an individual, but just like in your expansion, right? Of who you became, of what you are. And so I think that's kind of cool how you are putting on the show. You're basically cataloging and showing this just adaptation, this growth, this understanding of what you wanted to be as you progress through time. Because I think that happens to a lot of people. And it's kind of neat how you're able to catalog it during some of the craziest fucking decades that we had. The 90s, the early 2000s. The world was just nuts. And like you said, you were part of that shock culture. And there was a lot to that. So I think it's kind of neat how you were able to kind of transition to a whole new medium, but still preserve like that extrovertness, I guess you would kind of have to have in any industry. So it's neat to see.
You got to be born with it, huh?
Yeah. Well, I got a quick question too. Is like the shock culture, right? The term just sort of brought something to mind. So in the 90s, it was a big deal. Like I feel like these daytime talk shows, right, became a big part of culture. Like
Jerry
it was
Springer.
a huge part of culture. Here's the thing people don't realize, like
Jerry Springer was the father.
No, for sure. But Jerry Springer and Maury, hold on, like real shit. That evolved though. Like it became almost a mockery of itself. But there was this point in time before it was like you knew that like some couple that like a guy was banging his sister was going to fight the guy. Like it was this whole stage production. Right before that though, like before it, dude, I'm analyzing this shit. This is big, like, but that's exactly what it was. It was like this whole mockery. It was almost like the taking the pro wrestling formula of like creating this fucking crazy drama, right? Like, ooh, boo, like you shouldn't fuck your sister, boo, like at these easy, like fucking like good versus evil. But before that, there was this little era where it was like Geraldo, Sally Jesse Raphael. Right.
Oh, shit.
Were you, Jasmin, were you ever on those, or did you ever take part in any of those?
I was one of Springer's highest rated guests. If you watch the Vice TV series,
whoa, you were on Springer?
You were on Springer?
If you watch Vice TV, they have a series
talking
called,
to?
Huh? Oh
no, I'm talking shit to Rick. I'm like, dude, who do you think we're talking to right now? Of course you are.
Oh wow, no, I didn't.
Yeah. go please.
Vice has a series now called Dark Side of the 90s. The episode I'm on is Trash Talk TV, and I'm actually there with the one of the episodes from Springer opening up the show. So yes, Rick, I've been on there. It's not like
amazing.
Have you signed waivers? I never signed a waiver. So basically I was untouchable. I don't want some freaking person with helmet hair coming after my ass. And secondly, like it shows you what America was at that time. It was a beautiful place. It's these Midwestern idiots, these wives that have nothing better to do at 3:00 in the afternoon. It showed you what a beautiful country America is, and allow a pig on TV who couldn't even fit into the camera lens.
I fucking love this.
Shots fired.
Wow. Kabam.
Shots fired.
Bam. Amazing. Oh my God.
My mom saw that. I was on Maury once. No, with Geraldo, and then it was the Springers. And I did shows like that overseas. I was brought into TV shows here and there. Like it was amazing. And people still remember those those shows, those episodes. And I think it's amazing. Like I had no idea I was on Vice. And then my friend called me. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're waking me up for what? So she sent me the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right. I'm going back to sleep. Look.
That is interesting. I mean, what is it like? Because the 90s, I mean, like I said, as we pointed out earlier, we're a little bit older than you had probably initially thought. So we're very familiar with with all that shit. What's your take on that? Like how America has changed? Because there really was like, that is a thing. Like you forget about, man, this like shot culture.
It was
New
fun.
Jack City.
It was fun as fuck. And it was like, it had its own lane, right? Like it was fun. But now I feel like everything is so like crucial. Like there's no space to like have that, those extremes. Man, I don't even know. I'm saying this, I'm thinking this through as I'm saying it, but like, there's no space to like explore those extremes in a safe way. It only comes out like everything is taken so seriously that it's like, fuck, it ends up in violence, right? Like there's no avenue for these characters to exist or these people to like have these crazy things, and you can like, you know what I mean? You can fight the guy that's banging your fucking sister because you're jealous, because he's, you know what I mean, and have a fist fight on fucking cable television. Now it's like I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying, but like everything.
This is awesome.
Like
I'm riding this train with you right now, man. This is great.
That's what I do. That's what I bring to the fucking show.
I'm just riding the train. I like it.
Middle word.
Yeah, this would be a
middle
straight
word,
laced
middle word, middle world.
middle word.
I've been thinking about that for like the last 3 minutes.
There is no place to do that safely. That's why a lot of these like Gen Zers or whatever you want to call them, millennials, they live through all of that, like I existed in a world before the internet. So it's way cool.
Yeah, that's too.
Exactly. Yeah. See, so we knew what it was like, and it was a lot different. It was cooler. And now you could do anything. Like if I go knock someone out in the street and someone videotapes it, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Not that I care. But the whole truth of the matter is that there is nowhere safe to do these things without being judged. Back then, it was so much more fun and so much
chaos.
Huh?
The 90s were chaos. I think the 90s were just that moment of just complete. It was like everything exploded. Things were shitty, but they weren't so shitty, and everyone just exploded on at the same time, musically, artistically, everything. Because you got out of the 80s, which was just a fucking cocaine fueled ramp of shit, and then you hit the 90s, and everyone's like, okay, fuck, we made it to the 80s. Let's just fucking chill. And then everything, which artistically, everything exploded. The world was just, it was chaos, but it was fun, and you could be who you wanted to be. Right. And but there didn't need to be this like statement of who you are. You just fucking were. And I think that's what, you see at a lot of different styles. Like, you like, just take the example like grunge, right? Now, if someone's grunge, you'd have to state that you're grunge. You'd have to make sure that there is a grunge world. You have to make sure you're on a grunge forum so that all the other people understand that you're grunge. And then you're going to prove that you're more grunge than the other grunge. And it just has become that. Whereas the 90s was just it was just a fucking really cool fucking time, man. I do miss that.
Oh no, people just try to prove too many things nowadays because you have so many posers out there. I mean, I'm down the street wearing like a Rush t-shirt or a baseball jersey from a concert years ago, or Go-Go's jersey from 81, my Black Sabbath jersey I had when I was like 9 years old. You wear that in the street and you have these stupid kids. Oh my God, where'd you get that? At the show. You weren't even like a sperm in your dad's ball sack. I went up to a guy in the street who looked like a nerd, like a grade A nerd, with a Carcass t-shirt on, which is a death metal band, like grindcore death metal. I'm like, why are you even wearing that? Like, could you name one song by them?
Probably
and
not.
He did. He's like, well, why would you ask me? I said, because you just look like someone who picked it up at a freaking Hot Topic or something, or a yard sale. That's why.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Oh, that being said, Jasmine,
fucking Hot Topic.
I got one for you. This is
fair.
one. So I know I listen to the Krazy Train. I know you're a fan of Iron Maiden. I wanted to ask you, and you've probably said this on record at some point, but just for my own gratification, what's the best? Yeah, not even your favorite. What's the best Iron Maiden album?
Oh God, how could you ask me that? It's a loaded question.
Point out on the spot. I mean, this is the Skip the Noise podcast.
Yeah,
this is your first, hopefully not the last.
No, not my last for sure. Power Slave or Killers.
That's the right answer. Oh my God.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
so
right answer.
hold on. I'm about to fucking freak out. The reason why I'm about to freak out is this.
So you're gonna go liberal freak out?
No.
Hey,
no, not at all, dude. Hey, you listen to enough of these episodes, you'll realize that I exist in some kind of ether that's non-existent in the realm of political polarization. But check this out.
Middle word.
That's what I bring to the show. But I produce the motherfucker and I do all the social media. So they're at mercy and I edit the fucking program. So these two assholes are at mercy or whatever the fuck I decide to do. So, hey,
we were canceled a long
that's
time
why
ago.
you're forced to listen to these type of shit. So Jasmine, let me tell you why that's interesting to me. So literally today, knowing that you were going to be on the program tonight, which I was very excited about, I thought about that question. I was like, I'm gonna ask Jasmine what's her favorite Iron Maiden album. And I swear to God, I didn't know what you were going to answer, but in my mind, I was like, the correct answer to that question is Power Slave. Mm-hmm. I feel that's the correct answer, but because Bruce Dickinson, Iron Maiden, it is Steve, but Bruce, you know what I mean? Bruce Dickinson is that's the thing, but Killers, my favorite, the best is Power Slave. My personal favorite is Killers.
That's Paul Di'Anno best albums, yeah.
Oh my God.
It's really amazing. Like anything, like Paul Di'Anno had a great voice, not to take away from him, like Murders in the Rue Morgue. But then when they had Blaze Bailey, I didn't get that. That was like such a waste.
Oh, that was terrible. But but Paul Di'Anno is a different thing. Like it's apples to oranges. The Bruce Dickinson Iron Maiden is a different thing than the Paul Di'Anno, but on its own merit. That's why, to me, my favorite album is Killers. But the best album is Power Slave. So you answered that. The reason why I freaked out is because I was like, dude, you answered that exactly. I get it. So
I love this. I love this.
That was a moment. I love this. That was a moment
here, guys. I love it. I love this shit here.
That was a fucking real moment.
Another real moment here at Skip the Noise podcast. As we're just We're dropping
great.
knowledge
Without a
nuggets.
doubt. Without
It's
a doubt.
priceless, guys. It's priceless.
Well,
So,
Jasmine,
yeah.
before we wrap
Yes.
this up in a bun, just please just spill whatever you need to promote right now.
Yes.
Once again, on behalf of the guys, we are so excited that you graced our program.
Yes. Thank
This
you
was-
so much.
this was
It a lot of
amazing.
fun.
And I want to say this too, that like this wasn't just the fact that you kind of entered our space on the Instagram verse. Like I literally knowing like your repertoire, your appearances on the pipeline. Go check that out. Subscribe wherever you can get your podcast. I felt like you were almost like a perfect Skip the Noise guest. So I'm so glad we made this happen and we made it happen so quickly. Thank you from the bottom of our fucking
Totally appreciate the opportunity.
our empty and black hearts. Thank you so
No, I
much for being on the
appreciate
program.
Thank you for having me here. And I definitely want to come back on again. Like the more controversial topics we have politically, I have to come back on. I have to. And
Do not worry.
Done.
Do not worry.
Get
We
my
will touch
done.
upon them. We
Yeah.
will bug you.
But
fun
like
as
I
hell.
said, whatever you got right now, your Twitter, insert whatever you want to promote. Feel free at this point. Go for it.
So definitely tune into Krazy Train podcast with Jasmin St. It comes out every Wednesday. So it's crazy with a K, Krazy Train, because that's basically the Jasmin Krazy Train. It gets up and you just don't know where it ends up. So I have all kinds of guests. It has a lot of interviews with me by my co-host. So it's Krazy Train with Jasmin. So subscribe, rate and review. That'd be awesome. Then on Twitter under Jasmin St. Jasmin doesn't have an E, Claire does. And Instagram at The Real Jasmin St. or Krazy Train Podcast, or Weird Kind of Fame. All the links are up there. And yeah, check me out weekly on the Pipeline Podcast and obviously Krazy Train Podcast. And I will be back here again. Trust me. Don't.
I love it.
Anyway.
I love it. I love,
we
my
have
favorite
an
part of
open
that.
invitation. Open
Invitation. And what I love too is I like
I haven't seen Rick so happy.
No E on the Jasmine, but there is an E on the St. Clair because
Yes.
Yeah, and if anyone has a comedy club or like anyone knows where would like to have, what's possible to do the one woman show, any other places, always run it by us because like I'm always looking to book more and more gigs because it's fun.
Well, as a native Texan, there's an open invitation, Jasmine, for you to grace our wonderful state with your presence. I don't know. I feel like it could be a good fit, but as far as the one woman show, where there may or may not be some aspirations on the Skip the Noise or the Rounded Edge Media front on having some sort of live show. So possibly there could be a future there. So let us know. But yeah, I definitely think, like I said, you were a perfect guest for our program. Thank you so much from the bottom of our black and pessimistic hearts.
Soulless.
But I'm sure this will happen. I'm sure this will happen
Gross.
again. But on behalf of the world, I know it's scary out there, guys, but we try to make some sense of it. Be open-minded. Don't get butt hurt and act like a little fucking bitch because somebody doesn't agree with your opinion. Think things through. Read the news.
Disclaimer?
This is a disclaimer.
Wait,
This
what is it? Are you trying to read me my fucking fortune cookie here,
bro, this is the
motherfucker? Like, what's
reason
happening
we
here?
do. This is the reason we do this. This is the reason we do the show because the real
attacked here, man.
The corporate media is.
I need to go find me a safe space, you motherfucker.
Absolute
go
nonsense. I'm gonna find you a safe space on
I
Sally
got safe
Jesse
space for
Raphael
you.
with her red glasses. Fuck everybody. Skip the noise. Fuck the news. Jasmin St. you are an amazing person, and thank you for joining us today, tonight. You guys, 88 is a fucking banger.
Let's go,
Subscribe.
Brandon.
Let's go. She had to throw that in there.
I just
Beautiful.
did. I just subscribed right now.
Rick, Rick,
I'm
Rick,
trying to
finally
follow you on
has
Instagram too.
You got best friend here. Rick's like, fuck it, finally.
shit. Yeah, Rick finally has a friend. Jasmine, you're part. Jasmine, you're.
I mean, he made
officially
all
part
his
of
friends at the book burning too.
officially, Jasmin St. part of the Skip the Noise family. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Peace.
Thank you.
Keep it real. Represent. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.